All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. And let's talk a little bit about the Niners. A very interesting article from our good friend Jordan Elliott from Niners Nation. He wrote an article on the 49ers who he believes deserves more playing time in 2023. And he went with four guys that are good names. Jordan Mason, the running back, second-year running back out of Georgia Tech. Ray McLeod, who's a return man, wide receiver, Oren Burks, the linebacker slash special teamer, and T.Y. McGill, who's played on six or seven teams now since 2015. But McGill had a 9% pressure rate on 126 pass rushing snaps, and Jordan thinks he's going to take off and deserve more time. I like all four of those. Definitely Jordan Mason, and McGill, Ray McLeod, and Oren Burks are involved in competitive situations this summer for their jobs, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys wind up not even making the team, but if they do, I see what Jordan's saying because Ray's versatile and fast and can make a lot of plays, and you can use him a lot of different ways. Burks was terrific from scrimmage and from special teams, and he's only 28. And T.Y. McGill is in a rotation on the defensive line. All those make sense. Jordan Mason, I totally agree with. But I won't steal his. I'll give you four other ones that four 49ers who I believe deserve more playing time in 2023. I love his call of Jordan Mason because I think Mason's going to emerge as a special player. But I'm going to go with four second-year players who, the biggest jump that you typically see in the NFL is year one to year two. Year one, you're coming out as a rookie, your head's spinning, you're learning a new system, you're trying to introduce yourself into a sport that has faster, bigger athletes than you've ever gone up against before. And there's just a big adjustment period. And it's the rare player that can do what Brock Purdy did, and that's step in and just automatically play at a really, really high level. That's what makes Purdy's performance so that much more impressive, is that he was able to do that. He played a couple preseason games, sat between September and December, and then boom, gets called off the bench in December and didn't lose a game, and then went to the playoffs and didn't lose a game that he started and finished. And outside of getting knocked out against the Eagles, the guy was nearly perfect. And who knows, maybe if he doesn't get knocked out against the Eagles, maybe he leads them to the Super Bowl, maybe they win the Super Bowl, who knows. But Brock Purdy was very impressive. But let me give you four guys that I think definitely will deserve more playing time in 2023 and will get it. Okay, I'm going to start with Danny Gray, the wide receiver at SMU. He only played 96 snaps as a rookie, really was a non-factor as a receiver, did most of his work on special teams, was targeted 6 times all year as a receiver. He only had one reception. But we're talking about a guy with 4.2 speed, and he's just such an impact guy. And to me, the ball skills are good. He's definitely stronger. He knows the offense better. He's a vertical threat, and I think they're going to find a way to utilize Danny Gray. A lot of speedsters have horrendous ball skills. They run fast, but they really don't catch the ball. Danny Gray can catch. He can catch. He's got good hands. But the difference in the speed, I mean, he to me looked like noticeably faster than every other player on the field during the rookie minicamp, during the OTAs, and the most recent veteran minicamp. So I think Danny Gray makes that next leap. I think he's going to show the ball skills that he showed at SMU this year. They're going to utilize him more. I think they're going to feature him more. I think he'll have a terrific preseason. And I expect Danny Gray to really be a contributing factor on this team this year at wide receiver. So he's number one. Number two on the list, I'm going to go with Nick Zakelj. I think when you look around this 49er roster, that final 53 cut down is going to be intense because there's a lot of depth. And the Niners are likely to keep 3 running backs, and they've got a fullback in Kyle Juszczyk, but they're likely to keep at least 5 running backs. I think they're probably going to wind up keeping 5 receivers. They love to keep extra defensive linemen, so I would not be surprised if they keep 10 defensive linemen. And they just drafted 2 rookie tight ends. So I think it's a lock. They keep at least 3. They may go 4 tight ends. So if you have 3 quarterbacks and 4 tight ends, and either 5 running backs or 5 or 6 running backs or 5 receivers or 6 receivers and 10 D linemen, you're going to have to steal roster spots somewhere. And that means it's probably one of those spots is probably going to be the offensive line. And so I think the 49ers may go a man short on that offensive line. I think they're going to go the 5 starters, and then you're going to see, you're going to see John Feliciano, and most likely Nick Zakelj. And I'm going to go with Zakelj. Who's going to be the versatile guy who can play center guard and tackle and come off the bench in a pinch. And I think it's going to be Zakelj. He's really smart. He went to Fordham. He's a versatile player. I think, they've played him at center. They've used him at guard. He's comfortable inside. But I think in a pinch, this guy can play right tackle. He's tough. He's smart. He's 6'6". He only played 12 plays total as a rookie. But John Lynch shouted him out in the offseason as having as good an offseason as anybody. He's a worker. He's tough. He's smart. He's physical. He's nasty. He's in a unit that probably is only going to keep 3 backups, and Feliciano himself and either Matt Pryor or Jalen Moore are probably going to be the 3 backups. So I just think Zakelj is going to wind up playing off the bench, maybe some center, maybe some guard on either side, maybe at right tackle. But he to me, he is a really, really attractive young prospect because, this there's everything's got on a scale. So I mean, there's tough guys and there's really tough guys. This guy's at the top of that scale. I mean, he's a really tough guy. When you watch him out there, you can tell. I mean, he 2-hand shivers a defensive lineman, and that defensive lineman, just absolutely, you can see the impact of his 2-hand shiver. So he's really strong. He's got a nastiness to him. He's really smart. The one thing, if you're offensive lineman for the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan used a lot of pre-snap shifts and motions. He'll have a dizzying array of formations, different looks, partially to confuse the defense. But guess what? You can confuse your own guys if they're not really on top of their playbook. Zakelj is top of the charts in toughness and in smarts and in versatility and physicality. And those combinations of factors mean that he is going to be heard from this year. I really think he's a tremendous prospect. I think he could start if you had to have him start at center. I don't think he would disappoint. I really like Nick Zakelj, and I think he's going to deserve more playing time this year. All right, let's flip it over to the defensive side of the ball. Marcelino McCrary-Ball been running at middle backer with the 2s, behind Fred Warner. McCrary-Ball last year played at about 215 pounds. He didn't play. He was on the practice squad all year. He got 0 snaps. But man, he's jacked. He's put on at least 8-9 pounds of muscle. He looks like he's around 220, 225, somewhere in that range. And he's just moving incredibly well. He's smarter. He knows the defense. He's going to wear the green dot a little bit in the preseason as the caller of the defense. And I mean, I like Jalen Graham. I like D. Winters. I like Curtis Robinson, Flanagan Fowles, Oren Burks. But man, McCrary-Ball is playing at a different speed out there, and he's just a tremendous athlete. Had an interception in the preseason. He's going to fly all over the field. This guy's got the potential to be a great player. Not a good player, a great player. And I think he deserves more playing time this year, and I think he's going to get it. And then the last guy I'm going to go with is Samuel Womack. Womack's a 5'10", 190-pound corner out of Toledo, 5th-round pick. This guy's a worker. He showed up at Toledo as a walk-on, and he became an all-conference player in the MAC. That's not an everyday deal. That's just not a regular occurrence. That's not regular. That's not normal. That shows incredible work ethic. But this guy's got great athleticism. And to me, when you watched him in the mini camp, you can see this guy's fast, really fast. Now, he had 19 tackles last year. He did play a little bit. He had an interception. He had a forced fumble. He played 164 total defensive snaps. But Womack's legit. And I think he can be a starter. I think he can start outside or inside. He's definitely going to make this team. He's going to be one of their best corners, and he's going to have a terrific NFL career. So remember those 4 guys as they're cutting this thing down, and you're looking back at this season midway through. Krug told you first: Danny Gray, Nick Zakelj, Marcelino McCrary-Ball, Samuel Womack. Those are my 49ers who I believe deserve more playing time in 2023. And I'll predict it right now. All four of them are going to get that playing time, and they're gonna run with that opportunity. Four really good young football players who are going to take noticeable strides forward this year, this summer, July and August in Santa Clara. Can't wait to watch it. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in Marin, Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.